Welcome back to another Original Voice podcast. We're here at Boston Arms with Matt Hook. Boston Arms have kindly sponsored this podcast. If you don't know who the Boston Arms are, a nice little cosy micro pub, Woodseats High Street, and they're giving us beers today. So thank you for that. And we're here with Matt Hook. Do you want to introduce yourself, or do you want me to read out your Spotify description?
Yeah, you can read it out if you want, and I'll maybe add to it.
Yeah? So Matt Hook, an English singer-songwriter, re-entering the live and recorded music scene after being the frontman of Sheffield indie rock band Kartica.
Yeah, that's the one.
Told you.
Yeah.
Between 2008 and 2014. So Kartica were quite big at the
Yeah,
time.
I mean, so we formed in 2008. I think it was May. Well, I mean, there's a long, convoluted story that we might get into further down in the questions about how it formed. But when we sort of really got the full group together, I think it was about May 2008. I think that's when we recorded some demos. So yeah, we had a run from 2008 to, I left in about, I think it was 2014. That's what I've told myself anyway. It was a bit of an easy time. But yeah, so we got, I'd say, you know, like a local band, we started off quite big anyway, because I'm, you know, being a bit of a big mouth, I'm telling like everyone who'd listen that, you know, I joined the band and you've got to see it before it gets sky high and all the rest of it, and half the people believed me. So we had a really big first gig. We had like 300 people to his first gig.
Wow.
And then sort of, you know, then it was like we started properly after that in a way. And it got like local level, and then just, yeah, I'd say it got a bit beyond that in the fact we were sort of getting known in various pockets of different cities and all the rest of it. So
Yeah, and you've had a decade out.
yeah,
And you're back.
Yeah. I mean, it's about a decade now. When I first come back to it, it was, I think it was sort of 7 years. It was, so I came back into doing stuff technically in 2021. I think that was the first gig. I didn't do anything after that for ages, and then 2022, sort of mid 2022 is when I sort of thought, well, you know what, I'll sort of fall back into this and see how it goes.
Yeah,
So.
and since coming back, you've been signed to Forge Master Records.
Yep.
Is that an old connection, or is that a new
No,
connection?
so that was, it was completely out of the blue actually. It's a new sort of start-up micro label. Dougal, who runs it, I think he's based around here.
Yeah.
Whenever I've met him, he's, you know, he's drinking at the Boston Arms. And yes.
That's extra money in Boston.
He got in touch with me, I'm trying to think when it was, I'm just trying to think what year it is, 2025, so it was last year, it was about this time last year, October say. And he set up a start-up record label, just a micro label, you know, it's not anything too grandiose currently. He's starting now, they're always adding to the roster, so it's kind of just like, this is our ethos, you know, does this fit with you? You know, we like the sort of look and sound of you, all the rest of it. It did, I read their website, and it was just kind of like, let's just work together, rather than, you know, you sort of, as I say, this is not a big established label where there's all of a sudden you're on it and, you know, you're chucked here, there and everywhere and there's loads of money going about. It's just a kind of, we're finding his feet together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just sort of, you know, working.
Sometimes the best way to grow though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
kind of, both of you want to push it at the same
Yeah,
time, instead
yeah.
of these big labels who kind of be like,
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever miss band work? Do you ever miss the band?
Well, I mean, this is the thing, so now, obviously I gig under my own name, and really purely because there was no big plan to do it, I just kind of fell back into it. So obviously when I first booked the gig, you know, what are you calling yourself? I'm just turning up, it's me, you know.
Yeah.
And then you're releasing music and whatever, and it just gone from there. But I do play, obviously, the big gigs. I do some acoustic stuff, but the big gigs I do with like a full band. There was 9 of us on stage at the Foundry recently. So and originally it was a big revolving door of people. I'd have different like a squad of band members, and they'd come in, do odd gigs. What I've tend to find is now it's kind of got to a point where most of them will do most of the gigs. So it is more of a sort of proper band feel now. But yeah, to answer the question, yeah, there's definitely elements I miss of the old band. It sort of ended a little bit, not on the best of terms really, not anything overly dramatic, but it was just, the relationships had soured. But I've since got back in touch, like the old bass player now plays with me, and we're sort of, you know, we've got a good relationship. And but I miss being young, I miss the idea of like, it really meant not that it doesn't mean something now, but back then it means everything, you know, and you think you're going to change the world, you think you're going to take on the world. And
How old are you now?
I'm 41.
41?
Yeah,
I thought you were well younger.
Can edit that out. Yeah. 31.
31?
But just you know, that time, it was pretty magical in a lot of respects, and the experience you have for the first time with each other and going around the country and playing these different places and everything being new, it was a pretty magical sort of time, really, in a lot of respects. Some others, it was, you know, could be a bit tense, and there were things I don't miss about it, but yeah.
Is there any benefits now to being a little bit older, playing music? I guess you've learned a lot more than probably you were. Do you still enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some days. I think I definitely approach it differently this time round in that, like I say, when I was younger, it was everything. And I was to a point where I was obsessive over it. It meant absolutely everything to me, and I was constantly trying to push this, that, and all the rest of it. Nowadays, I've come back to it, I'm a lot more aware of how things work generally. So I'm less naive to it, and obviously as a group we were a little bit naive in times, thinking back, because we didn't know any better. You know, we didn't really have industry people around us. We were just taking what we saw as, you know, just finding us feet with what we saw.
Yeah.
So now I'm a bit more aware of how things work. I'm a bit less. I do it first and foremost for enjoyment now, and whatever comes from it is kind of a bonus. And with that comes like a more relaxed sort of vibe to it, and I just think, I just think that there's sort of, I'm more aware of how things sort of can pan out, and I suppose how likely things generally don't pan out.
Like,
do you know what I mean?
Moral realism.
Yeah,
kind of expectation.
yeah. And also, you know, I mean, there's sort of part of me, I'm not, you know, I'd be happy to reach a certain level. I'm not sure I want to be, you know, known all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you want to walk down the street, you want to come into a pub and be like, no one recognises
the Boston
you.
Arms. And,
I'm going to make it collaborate. Just if you just get Boston Arms. But speaking of, should we talk about the first beer?
Yeah,
because they've kindly gave us some beers today. Yeah. This first beer, all local, Sheffield, is Triple Point. It's called Punch, 4.5%, orange, lime and pineapple sour. So cheers.
All right, cheers, thank you.
Even though we've tried some already. But
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty fruity.
Yeah.
We are going to move on to a section called This or That.
Right, okay.
Which kind of gives the audience 5 minutes to get to know you.
Right.
And basically just answer as quick as you can.
Okay.
One word answers unless you feel like it needs more. Like the first question. When does a knife become a sword?
This is a really tricky question to start off with, but I feel, in my understanding, I think a knife becomes a sword past the 6-inch mark. Right. I feel that is the standard length and things change.
So you think it's all about length?
I think anything over 6 inches is getting, it's getting to a bigger than, more dangerous.
So it's dangerous if it's above 6 inches. It doesn't matter if it's double-sided or if it's sharp.
No, it's just
If it's big, it's dangerous.
Yeah, that's it.
Tea or coffee?
Do you know what? I'm more of a tea person. I'm not big on either, really, but...
What kind of tea?
Just PG tips, or Yorkshire tea.
Not like a nice chai masala or something?
No, I'm not that fancy, to be fair. But do you know what? I'm not that big. Like, I can take or leave either. If I do like a coffee now and again. I quite like a mocha as well.
I love a good mocha.
And I do like a cappuccino and stuff like that. So
Vinyl or streaming?
As far as releasing, vinyl, because you actually get some money for it. But I mean, streaming is just, as I'm sure you're aware, is just like, for artists, is, you make literally nothing. It's just a bit of a joke, really, how it is at the minute. But it is so accessible for people. So it's great that you can literally have a song and someone can access it in seconds if they just go on their phone.
Yeah.
So there is room for both. I just wish the streaming was a bit more well-paying for artists. But the vinyls, I brought one vinyl out on Forge Master Records, so if you had interest in vinyl. Is there
good money in vinyls? Are people still buying them?
depends how many sell. They're quite expensive to produce, so you have to charge quite a lot for them.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. You know, at the level we're talking about, you're doing well to sort of just, you know, cover your costs really. But yeah, you know, I do think it's a nice thing. Obviously, you need a vinyl player really. Well, I know some people buy them even just to have as like a collected. You
just
know,
get it signed, package it up, and
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's room for both of them. But if I had to choose between one or two, begrudgingly, I'd probably choose streaming just because it's so accessible.
Yeah. Headline gig or festival?
I think, again, there's merits to both. I mean, a headline gig is great and magical if everything comes together. I feel like the one I just did in the Foundry really sort of come together nicely. But there's so much preparation for that and so much hard work going into it. You have to be really ready to put that, you know, those months of preparation into it. When a festival, you know, it's sometimes just nice to turn to something that is pre-arranged. You're not worrying about the sort of, you know, how things are playing out with it, all the rest of it. You're not necessarily worrying about the crowd because, you know, you're hoping that's taken care of. Yeah. So, I don't know, it's a difficult one. I'm going to say, just for ambition's sake, headline gig.
Nice. Wednesday or United?
So, contrary to some people's impression, I'm not actually a Sheffield United fan. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm from Sheffield, but my family from Liverpool, so my mum's side. So I was brought up as a Liverpool fan from, you know, before I knew really what football was. That being said, over the years, my mate was at YTS at Sheffield United. So I started getting sort of free tickets off him when I was about 16, and my mates growing up with Sheffield United fans. So I started going to loads. You know, I've been to hundreds of Sheffield United games. I still go now. I still go and watch them now. So I definitely have a soft spot for them. So over Wednesday, it's Sheffield United for me.
Fair enough. I'll make no comments on that. Steel City Derby. What's your? That's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Less than. Predictions.
Do you know what? I mean, God, you know, last season they were poles apart, but I almost feel like
this might be the worst Steel City Derby ever.
yeah. Don't think it'd be the most high quality affair you'll ever see, but I think I feel like the momentum's a bit with Wednesday at the minute.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I just think United, you know, Wilder's come back in. There is a boost to them. They are playing better, but it's still not quite clicked. But I feel obviously with everything that's happening at Sheffield Wednesday at the minute, they must have a real, you know, oomph about them.
It's a lack of pressure.
Yeah.
No one cares what happens. It's just go out and have fun.
Yeah, it's about the club and just sort of, you know. So I'd probably say I think Wednesday might nick it.
Nice. I agree. early mornings or late nights?
I'm a night owl, sadly. Although if I do get into a routine of being, you know, if I do get into a nice routine, I do like getting up early in the morning. But for some reason, my natural body clock seems to just deviate away from that. So I'm a night owl.
Acoustic or electric? Judging by what you brought today.
Yeah, I mean, I think acoustics. I think sometimes it's nicer to hear a song on an acoustic if you don't know it, because it's so easy to pick it up and sort of feel it and get the vibe of it and you know, hear it properly. But for me, there's nothing like playing with the full band, electric, all the rest of it, and having the full work. So.
Nice. Pizza or pasta?
I'm going to go for pasta.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mosh pit or chill at the back? Are you in there?
No, I'm chill at the back now. Chill at the back, yeah. But back in the day, I'd have definitely been, you know, up front and centre when I was younger, but now I'm
I remember there's a vivid memory of me, I went to a festival, Chasing Status were playing in Spain, and it was mental at the front, and I was at the back just eating, and it was the best gig ever.
Yeah.
Because like, just you can feel the energy.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, like an example of that for me, I went to the Oasis gigs in the summer, so I went to Heaton Park on the Friday night.
Nice.
And, you know, there was 4 of us, schoolmates, all the same age, and we were just like, you know what, we're happy hanging at the back. And you can, like you say, you can still feel all the energy, you can see it all, but it was just nice to have that sort of, you know, just taking it all in. You got a bit of space, you can still have a bit of a bop around if you want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good.
Okay, so you spoke about Oasis. Do you have any kind of other big inspiration? I'm assuming Oasis are a bit of inspiration.
Yeah, oh, 100%. You know, I was a child of the 90s, you know, born in the 80s, grown up in the 90s, so Oasis are the old reason me and my sort of mates got into the kind of culture and music that we did. As far as bands, I love Ocean Colour Scene, absolutely love them. The Verve, Cast,
Kind of all your big...
Yeah, you
old
know,
school.
yeah, sort of just that, whoever was on the radio at that time, in that sort of scene, which are the sort of bigger bands from that era, but they were sort of specific. It was more the northern ones, you know, it was just that simple. It was just that sort of vibe hit me. I know Ocean Colour Scene in Birmingham, but they were probably, it was Oasis and Ocean Colour Scene. Obviously the Stone Roses were around earlier and I got into them later.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ocean Colour Scene we're sort of neck and neck with Oasis really for me.
Nice. So should we move on to a little bit about yourself?
Yeah.
I feel like we've got to know you with the quick fire stuff now.
Okay.
Not a blade. That's a point. So, kind of, what are your earliest recollections of music? You say you brought up in the 90s, you're listening to all that. Because you, at 31, you were probably at the perfect age to enjoy the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was, without sounding too, you know, Warburton's advert or whatever, or Hovis advert, it was a different time, you know, and just sort of like how you consume stuff. So, you know, when I was first getting wind of music, it was literally you had 5 radio stations and 5 TV channels, and that was your lot. So you'd catch sort of wind of what was popular on TV and radio. So my first memories of music really was long car journeys. My family, you know, Liverpool way, and my dad's side were Bristol. We weren't as, kill me if they see this, we weren't as close with my dad's side, to be honest, but we'd still go and visit my nan. So we'd have a long car journey. That was my most exposure to music as a kid, really. We weren't playing music in the house. My mum and dad weren't musical themselves. They weren't playing instruments or anything. So it was just hearing music on car journeys, and I'd just be, you know, daydreaming in the car journeys for hours on end, listening to these tunes.
Yeah. And
go on.
It was back in the day, it was CDs as well. So it wasn't just heard it once, you heard them.
Yeah, I mean it was tapes. It was tapes originally, you know, back in my day. So yeah, it was CDs and you just, you know, and all that stuff. So it would just repeat. And then obviously as I got a bit, I mean I wasn't, you know, I knew the sort of pop groups that were on Saturday morning TV and children's TV and whatever. But aside from liking particular songs, I wasn't like proper in on a sort of, you know, the scenes of stuff. And it wasn't until I remember going to secondary school and they did an icebreaker session, right? And part of the thing was like, what, when you're 10, 11 years old, year 7 or whatever. And they give us a question. One of it was like, who's your favourite pop group, band, whatever? And I remember thinking, like, not a bleeding clue, do you know what I mean? And so I put East 17. That was the only thing I could think of. I was like, right, East 17. I did stay now, you know, over Christmas or whatever. So, yeah, it was just, I wasn't like proper keyed into it in a scene and a fashion sense. And it wasn't really till Oasis come out around then. I mean, I used to like, bit of like a rap fan as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? I think the first record I bought was Criss Cross Jump.
Okay, yeah.
The Make Daddy Make You Jump, Daddy Make You. Wanted to wear my jeans backwards and a lot. So, but then away, go on, sorry.
Back then it was more like a lifestyle thing as well. Like music was a lifestyle thing. I guess now you don't really see people dressing how your kind of main artists dress.
That's 100% like a difference that I feel like, you know, is noticeable. Like you say, back in the day, you sort of pick your tribe, and that was it. You know, your culture was shaped by, and I do think music still shapes culture, but not as sort of tribally as it used to be, where you know you could pick, you know, they're them, these are them, they're into that, these are this. Now everyone's a bit, you know, you ask these, you know, 20-year-old kids what do they, a bit of everything. Yeah. You know, it's just a standard line.
It's impossible to answer now.
Yeah.
But like, you look at kind of the Oasis crowds at Heaton Park and like London and stuff like that, they all embraced it. Yeah. You walk around Manny and they've changed like, was it Aldi that they changed?
Yeah,
or like Lidl advertising like little by little. And it became like this whole persona thing again.
Yeah.
It's like we're kind of missing that now in music.
Yeah. I do feel for, you know, some people sort of scoff at that sort of thing, but I feel that was like part of the fun in a way, because it wasn't, you know, when we're saying tribal, we're not like, no one's at war with each other. It was just kind of like, you know, it was like an identity thing. And I suppose with that kind of music that, you know, we got into as kids because it was so relevant and at the time, it did shape you sort. You know, I still dress. You know, the reason I dress is because I got into that and it got into me, and that was it.
Is it pretty green?
No, do you know what? I tell you what this is. This is a Sheffield brand called The Alternative. Oh, okay. And I went in putting posters up in his shop, and he must have seen me coming from a mile away because he literally sold me about 5 items in about 20 minutes. I was like the poster boy for him, and this is one of. But he does all like, yeah, it's really cool stuff that he does, and it's all sort of. You know, self-designed, whatever, and it's just got that. When I see it, I know, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, that.
So this Manchester musician walking and like, you need this.
yeah. It's like, right, I've got just the thing for you. But yeah, I think it was just, you know, it was just a different vibe getting into music, and as I say, that whole Britpop scene when I was I think I was 10 when Definitely Maybe come out. Didn't really catch me at first because I was maybe a bit too young for it. You know, still repping E17 at that point. But it was like, I think it was when like Wonderwall come out and it was just everywhere, and all of a sudden you're 12 and you're starting to take note of, you know, what fashion and culture means to you and all that. So.
Yeah. When did you start playing?
So I was late to it really because it was just a bit of it was like a pie in the sky idea for me. You know, I had these sort of, you know, like you say, bit of a sort of, you know, pipe dream sort of type of kid where I was desperate to be a footballer when I was younger, like, and I was convinced, even though there were no great signs, you know, by the time I was in my teenage years, I still thought, like, by 16, 17, you know, even at that time, I was like, I still think there's like a window, there's still a chance.
Did you twist your ankle?
Just, you know, bad ligaments, you know, it just did me in. I could have been the best, you know, could have been the best player you'd never seen, but, yeah, so I had this thing, I'd love to be a footballer, and then there was part of me kind of like, I'd love to be, I suppose like you see the band, you know, at this point you see the band, you think, oh, I'd love to be in a band, but like I never really envisioned myself, one as a singer. So I always thought if I was going to be in a band, I'd just be like the bass player or something, or I didn't really fancy the idea of being like the front man. I wanted to be the sort of, you know,
the cool bass player.
Yeah, the one who, you know, the one-off centre who just sort of just does his own thing or whatever. Yeah. But again, you know, I wasn't musical. I never realistically thought of it. And then when I was 18, my mate who was sort of into all, you know, bit ear to the street kind of thing with music and was quite, you know, he sort of recommend. He was more, he knew more about like the bands and stuff than I did. And he's like, oh, why don't we get guitars and just, you know, try and learn them basically. There wasn't any idea like let's get guitars and form a band. It was just like let's get guitars and see how we go on. And I literally thought I'd last about a week. And I thought he'd probably last about a week, and as it happened, he lasted 2 weeks, and I carried on. So there you go.
Nice. So you started learning guitar with your mate, and then kind of what happened from there?
Yeah. So unbelievably, because I wouldn't have had myself down for sort of keeping at it. I sort of taught myself. Another mate who played more guitar sort of showed me a few ropes, because again we're talking, you know, obviously the internet was going back then, but it wasn't like you could just go on YouTube and find out exactly how to play like you can now and, you know, answer every question, ChatGPT and all that. And so unbelievably I sort of kept at it. He fell away pretty early, you know. It was going to be a fad for both of us. That was kind of the thought, but like he fell away pretty early. But I sort of, you know, after the month or two of novelty playing, I sort of, you know, didn't touch it loads, but I kept on enough where I gradually got to a point where I could play it. You know, I was on, you know, I'm still not a great guitarist, which is why I don't tend to play it live, especially with the band gigs. You know, if I play stuff, I play very simple stuff, but I know enough to be able to write tunes, and I'm comfortable playing. I'm just not the most proficient, you know, guitarist. I don't know loads of chords, whatever, blah blah blah. But yeah, I just kept touching away at it, and eventually, that sort of obviously paved me way into becoming a performer, you know, through scenarios.
Yeah, and then from there, did you start? What age was this? This was quite.
So I was 18 when I first got this guitar, and then I was about 22. I think so. We're talking about maybe 22, 23. My mate runs at the time. He was the bar manager running an open mic night, a pub, right? And by this point, I'm like, you know, I'd sing in the car, in front of people. I wasn't like a performer, but like people would hear me think I could sing basically, and I was pretty convinced of it. Whatever. Never really got the feedback in that regard. But so he's like that. He's like, oh, we're doing this open mic night. Why don't you come up and sing? Like, you can sing, can't you? And I'm kind of like, yeah. And he's like, get up and play and do it. And I'm thinking, I felt a shiver go down my spine at the suggestion of it, because the idea of it just, sent me cold kind of thing. I'd never really played the guitar outside my bedroom. I hadn't sang properly in front of anyone. So he was on about us all the time, and of course I go up to these open mic nights, it was full of people I knew at the time, that, all the young ones are there, a few years younger than me, it's a big social scene, and of course like these open mic nights, like I say this on every interview I get, but you get these like, you don't know where they've appeared from, you don't know where they disappeared to, but they come and play like Frank Zappa or something, or like just like the most skilled freaking, like, Santana on the guitar, and and they're just thinking like, I ain't getting up after that, you know what I mean? I'm not getting up there playing fucking, can you swear, by the way?
Yeah, do what you want.
Right, okay. I ain't getting play. I won't even swear now. But anyway, I won't get up and play, G and C after that and whatever. Yeah. But he kept on at us, and I just thought, do you know what? Like, he started nagging away at me a bit. So I secretly started preparing a little set, and I just rehearsed it like 3 or 4 songs, and I just didn't tell a soul. And I've gone up there completely prepared if I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And he's said the same things he did every week. Now, why don't you get up? And I'm kind of like, well, as if like off the cuff. And I get up, and of course, I think everyone there, I think they just thought I was pissed, and I was just there to like sabotage the night or something. So I get, knowing they're just like, oh, what's Hooky doing? Has he had a few too many to drink or something? And I get up and I play and I sing. I like to think I did a pretty good job. Of course, the reaction was like unbelievable. Yeah. People were literally, cheering.
Shit, you can sing.
Yeah, they were just like, where's this come from kind of thing. So it was magical, really. That then led to lads who I sort of knew through other people, hearing about it. They asked me, do I want to join a band, basically? Yeah, you can sing, you're into the same kind of thing. And that was how sort of Kartica got formed.
Yeah.
So.
Is it, well, number one, do you still get nervous going up on stage?
No, do you know what? I mean, I never say this with 100% certainty, and I don't say it in a kind of brag, like, oh yeah, I'm too cool to get nervous or anything, because I definitely used to when I was younger. Yeah. But I think, and I'm never saying never, because you just don't know how you're going to feel before you start. One day you might be, one day you might not be. Yeah. But generally, because I've done it so often, I'm so pretty sort of well prepared, and I am lucky in the sense that for whatever reason, I kind of feel more at home on stage than probably anywhere else. And I felt, even from that first night when I sat on the stage, sat on the stage, sat in front of the pub playing, the first time I've ever done it, and the thought of it was sending me, like it was sending me cold minutes before. Once I was there, I felt completely fine. Yeah. And it's a really nice feeling to have, because you do feel, and I suppose because you're supposed to be in this place where you're supposed to be nervous and you don't really, you feel quite at home. I don't know, it makes you feel even more confident. Yeah. But saying that, I have felt nerves at times more in the Kartica days when it was still new with the sort of bigger venues and stuff like that, but now not really. Is
it quite like therapeutic? Is it because, like, would you rather play to like 5 people or like a massive crowd sort of thing? I guess like if you see like 500 people, you're like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that weird to say?
Yeah, do you know what? The bigger the gig, the easier it is.
Yeah.
100%. Now saying that, I feel relaxed enough now with everything about it, where I'd quite happy to play to 5 people, and it would. But definitely when you first start out when you're younger, it's harder to play, in a situation like this where there's no real difference between you and the performer, and you feel that as a performer where, you step on a big stage in a big venue with loads of people, they expect you to be up there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you stood there, they don't think like, what's he doing? Yeah. They're thinking, oh yeah, he's the singer, like, that's what he's supposed to be doing. So you feel like you become the part, even more so. So it's, the bigger gigs are easier. Yeah.
So you've started kind of learning by yourself, then open mics, then joining a band that got quite successful. Yeah. Then broke up, and then you've come back after 10 years. Mm-hmm. That's quite a vast career as such. Mm-hmm. What are sort of your core memories from the last sort of 20 years or so of performing? Surely some just stand out, like.
Yeah, I mean, the main night, the main stuff with Kartica was probably the first gig we ever did, because it was just so magical, to do that. And as I say, we made a really big deal of it. We got like 300 people there, if not more. I think most of them thought it was like a one-off, you know.
Yeah.
I thought they think they would turn up to like, you know, some like special talent night or something or whatever. But the sort of gig that stands out with Kartica most for me, I mean, we did bigger gigs as far as people and lineups and you know, festivals or whatever. But when we headlined the O2 Academy, and we did it in a smaller room, it wasn't the big, although we played the bigger stage a couple of months later or whatever. But we headlined the smaller stage, and it was we were still at a point at this time where we knew there was going to be loads of people there. I think we got about 400, 450 there, something like that. And we knew there were going to be loads of people, but we were still at this point where we thought, we just hope we keep their attention toward, you know, till the end of the gig basically, you know, because you know what it's like with original music, local bands. People go with the best of intentions, but you know, they start talking to their mate. They're not there die hard, you know, necessarily. So we're playing, and we're playing all original stuff. There was no covers, and we get sort of halfway through, and literally like the place is bouncing, and you know they're on each other's shoulders, they're bleeding, singing along, singing words back to you, you know, clapping, and it was just like all those fears or worries about can we just keep them on side, like. And then some, you know what I mean? Like they were chanting, you know, we finished the gig, they're literally roaring for like more songs, and it was just a mad atmosphere. So that sticks out for me always, just because it felt like such a sort of pivotal moment. Then there was sort of social media stuff, and like, you know, we on Hollyoak, the music got played on Hollyoak. It's just little things like that.
Nice.
Gary Neville tweeted about, you know, so like random things were happening. We were getting mentioned. There was a random forum set up. On the internet by some dude who I don't know to this day who he was. I don't think they're from Sheffield, but he's like an old, you know, it was a forum dedicated to the band with all these different rooms. Like, what's your favourite Kartica song? I think there was only about 10 members, like, but you know, it was just mad that like these things were happening.
Fan pages and that.
Yeah, it was crazy, and you know, we were hearing stuff like I'd get messages, we just heard your song being played in a tent at V Festival, you know, by people before they go to the stage and stuff, and you're just thinking like, wow, you know, things are a level above just a local band here.
Yeah,
so.
Which brings us to today, the
So
release of This Feeling.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us a little through that?
Yeah, so this is, I've just literally released it last week. Obviously we've done an OV Live, which you'll see coming soon. It's just, I love it actually, I love how it's been produced. It's just when I wrote it, it wasn't, a lot of my songs be quite, to me at least, they're quite meaningful, they're quite sort of, there's a lot of vague and hidden meanings put into them, kind of, you know, there is a depth to them emotionally maybe, where this is more, I just wanted like a sort of feel good, simple, you know, just a nice vibe really, and one that I feel like you can put it on and just, it takes you to a nice place for 3 minutes. And so I wrote it pretty quickly, and I just loved the feel of it. I love the production. We did it with James at Big Dog Studios, which you know very well.
You did
James
indeed,
Foss,
yeah.
So
I didn't realise you produced that at Big Dog.
Yeah. So that was recorded with James, and as you'll know, James is just such a absolute, you know, top dude. Really talented, because he can. The nice thing for me as solo guy is I don't have to get members of the band to come and play stuff, because James can do so much. He can do the drums. He can do the guitars, the bass. So he puts most of that music together. You know, I do the easy bit and come in and sing and whatever. So I just love the feel of it. I love the sound of it. I love how it's been produced. I feel like it is a really feel-good, sort of dancey, good time almost record. So yeah, hopefully people enjoy it.
What is this feeling?
This feeling, right now it's enjoying this beer at the Boston Arms.
which is, by the way, Moonshine. Classic Sheffield beer from Abida Brewery.
There we go.
Pale ale.
Yeah, but this feeling is it's just about the moments in life where, as I say, you know, I've touched on it other times, and we might go into it here, I don't know, but like I went through some sort of tough times in life. I feel like most people, you know, especially they get, you know, past their youth or whatever, will definitely have tough times. You know, that's nothing new for anyone. Life's not easy on anyone. But I also feel that sometimes, as much as there is a lot of focus on the tough and dark times in life, you know, you do have the flip side where the small moments in life can make you feel, you can have a random day where everything feels pretty amazing. You know, like it doesn't have to be anything special, you just feel good, you feel in a good place. And this feeling is kind of that. It's just about wherever you find that feeling, that euphoria, it could be sitting on your own in the Boston Arms, or it could be sitting with mates in the Boston Arms, or it could be like drinking moonshine, or it could be at a gig, it could be anywhere, and you're just having, you know, you have them moments where that's what it means to feel alive, and that's what it means to feel, you know, invigorated, I guess.
So it could mean multiple different things to everyone, really.
I think one common thing with my music that I like to think, and you know, people make their own interpretation, is I feel like my music, I want it to have a different interpretation to whoever hears it. I know the interpretations I put into it, and they're for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like I like to keep things pretty vague in the sense that whatever it makes you feel, you can maybe attach it to something you've experienced or your life.
I like that, yeah. So at 41, it's not just music that you do. No. So outside of music, do you want to talk a little bit about your involvement with football? We were talking prior to the seven-a-side league and things like that as well. Do you want to?
Yeah, so I mean, part of my sort of redemption arc in a way in life was, you know, when I was a bit lost, to put it, you know, to put it lightly. The one thing I was sort of really focused on, I was running a six-a-side team. That was like keeping my mind just engaged with stuff or whatever. That then developed into basically just, you know, nothing to lose. I'm just going to start my own league. And like, if I wasn't in the place I was sort of psychologically and just in life, I'd probably never have done it because I'd seen all the pitfalls and it would have put me off. But like, it was almost like, you know, bollocks to it, I'm just going to do it. And, you know, I mean, it's quite funny, this is the mentality at the time. I was advertising it online before I'd even booked the pitches, which led to a bit of a dodgy email from the venue asking why you advertising leagues at our venue. And I'm like, don't worry about that, mate, it's going to happen soon.
Manifestation.
Yeah. So I was literally just, you know, I basically just baby stepped into that. It was just like, bang, let's just do it. You know, that day become focus on that. The next day, the week, I'm walking around, you know, Exeter Road with flyers, giving them to lads in football kits. I accidentally gave one to a professional footballer. I didn't realise who he was, who sheepishly told me he already plays.
Is there a name to that?
There is, yeah. Ethan Pinnock, who plays for the...
Brentford, is it?
Brentford, he was at Brentford. I don't know if he's still there, but yeah, it was hilarious because I'd just seen him and he had one of them, I should have known a mile off, right, because he had them kind of grey sweatsuits, track suits on that footballers always wear.
EP on there.
Yeah, his squad number on there. And I've seen, but I've just thought, he's on Ecky Road, he looks sporty, you know. Yeah. So I'm talking to these other lads. He's heard me talking to them. It was just a logical thing to ask him.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, hey mate, you know, do you play football at all? And his face, he was just like, oh God, am I gonna have to say this? Yeah. You know, he's just like, I already play, mate. I was like, oh, where'd you play? And he was like, he played for Barnsley at the time. So he's like, I played professionally for Barnsley.
So you don't fancy seven-a-side it?
Well, the funny thing was, I laughed. I was just like, you're no good to me then, are you? Yeah. And then I tweeted him about it, and I just said, if you ever fancy a midweek, you know, small-sided football league, give us a shout. And he liked it. And but yeah.
This reminds me of a moment, kind of irrelevant to this, but I was working with Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Oh right.
Who you'll know very well.
Snake. Used to love him.
Snake. And this was the day of Sheffield Wednesday playing Peterborough when they lost 4-0. And I was in Liverpool shooting with Trent, and I asked him, I was like, you should come and play for Wednesday tonight. Yeah. And he just laughed me off and went, hey. It's just one of those moments where you meet someone famous, you're like, you kind of want to keep talking to him, but it's a bit awkward.
Yeah. It's not enough money in the world. Yeah. I'm joking, Wednesday fans. But yeah, so that football league, it just come from that. It started off with, I had 4 or 5 teams. You know, 2 of them I ran myself because I was running these little teams, so I just moved them to that.
Yeah.
And then I got basically like 2 teams of mates. I was just like, lads, just form, you know, going to the pub, lads, fancy forming a team, please, Lee, I'm going to start it. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
There's a lad actually, I always credit this lad, Ivan Afzal he's called. He was a lad that I know locally, played football. And I sort of like, I name drop him because if it wasn't for him, I'm not sure it would have maybe got off the, like him coming to me one day and just going, okay, I've got a team. I was like, right, bang, you know, I've got a team that's not me setting it up. We're in business almost, you know, but I need like another team now, and then once that forms, I'll you know, we can get going almost and I can advertise. So it's grown now to, you know, we had 5 teams to start, we've got like 26 now, 27, something like that. We've had 10 seasons of it. There's 4 divisions. Yeah, so. Yeah.
And where is this?
It's at Warminster Road. It's Wednesday nights between 7 and 10. And yeah, Warminster Road 3G, backs onto Newfield School. And I'll be there every day. I still try and play. I was in the top division until recently. Yeah, still holding it against some of the sort of semi-pro level players. And yeah, but the main thing is obviously just making sure they behave really, which I would say credit to them.
It's hard at 7-a-side, isn't it?
Yeah. But you know what, 99% of the time, they're absolute magic. So.
Yeah. What position did you play?
I was like, they used to call me the Ginger Perlo. So there you go. I might have called myself that, I can't remember, but anyway.
Like Perlo when he was like 38, or Perlo when he was like 25?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. So I started off as like an attacking, even striker when I was a kid. And then I started moving back, you know, I become like the sort of Teddy Sheringham role to the Alan Shearer. And then I become like, I spent most of my youth as an attacking midfielder, like, you know, classic, you know, keeping things ticking over, you know, that kind of role. I was never very fast, I was just little passes, still am to this day. Used to dribble a bit more because I had a bit of, you know, a few tricks, but as I've got older then I started dropping into that, you know, like just sitting in front of the defence, and that's my natural position. But at 7-a-side I ended up playing at the back because I ain't got the legs. So.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about the kind of dark moments before this resurgence of Matt Hook. Do you want to kind of delve into that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Why it happened,
and
if music's kind of helped along the way as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, you know, this is not, to people who followed me or know me, this is sort of not, you know, breaking news or anything. So there was just a load of things that happened around the end of Kartica, really, that contributed. There were tensions in the band, you know, there were tensions with me and you know, a couple of members, whatever. And it just, that sort of added to me pulling away from that. And also, you know, some of the tension side maybe gets a bit overboiled, you know, and even me saying that will probably overboil it again. But there was also a side of like, there'd been 6 years at it, and I'd felt I put everything into it, and I was starting to tread water, you know what I mean? I was running out of steam. So there was that element. I had a breakup with, I just had a baby, like, you know, 6 months before. Me and the baby's mum weren't, you know, it wasn't going to carry on. So there was all the fallout of that. I'd been sacked from my job, let's not put it bluntly. So there was that element, and then my dad was dying of cancer. And then my brother got cancelled after that.
Yeah.
So he's now okay, my brother, he should live a long life. But my dad had terminal cancer. So you can just imagine, amongst everything else, and my mental health wasn't in a great place, just with everything anyway. And just you know, even these days, as I'm sure anyone can, if they're honest with themselves, can relate to, you know, you still have tough days, even if you're living the best life going, whatever. So even without all that, I think I was in a bit of a ropey place some way, but with all that added on top, I was going nowhere fast, and I started sinking pretty quickly. And I suppose, like, I remember just at a certain time, just like being, you know, just being really alone. And in a sense of like, there were people for me, I'm sure there were, but you don't necessarily feel it, or you don't necessarily want to reach out to them to be there for you. Yeah. And I remember just sort of being, you know, I remember not really knowing what to do with myself, and like, I remember just going to cinema on my own. And in a way, I've kind of kept that mindset, like, to this day. You know, from being surrounded by all this sort of scene and partying, you know, band and all this, to sort of just being sat in a cinema on your own on like a Tuesday night because you feel like there's nowhere else to be. It just, something sort of changed really, and I sort of, in a way, I've carried a bit of that with me ever since. I'm still quite, I've got loads of mates and all the rest of it, but I'm still quite, you know, I spend a lot of time on my own, and I'm quite sort of I don't know, whatever. I'm just in my own zone a lot of the time, and I'm comfortable with that. But yeah, with everything going on, there was a lot of stuff. Obviously, I was doing bits and bobs work-wise, nothing particularly stable. So the Football League, you know, that was such a coming back to life kind of thing. And obviously, you know, my dad passed away. You deal with that, the grief, whatever. He was in a bad way for quite a few years before he passed away. I think through that, coupled with the lockdown, which I bizarrely, in a way, really enjoyed actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know a lot of people struggle with that, and there's obviously different perspectives of it. But I loved the lockdown. It did me a world of good. Through that, and just having a bit more confidence in just myself and life through doing the football league again, and actually having like a, feeling like I had a bit of a purpose for society, whatever. I just dipped into playing music, YouTube videos, badly produced. There was no camera setup really, it was just a phone, there was no mics, it was just like doing it. And of course, people had a really good response to that if I put it on my social media, because I'm the guy that used to be in the band and you're great, it's lovely to see him doing it again kind of thing, everyone likes that, but so that kind of propelled me on. And then once the lockdown finished, I got offered a gig basically by my old mates, a band called Sons of the City now, but they were called Section 60 at the time, and they basically said, we're doing a headline gig, do you want to come and support us on acoustic? And I was like, I've not done this for 7 years. I don't know if I've got it in me anymore. I'm not set foot on a stage. Am I still that guy? I don't know. But I thought, 50-50. I thought, if I don't do it, I'll never do it. I said, yeah. I went and did it. It was one of the easiest, most relaxed gigs I've ever done. And I was just like, well, I may as well do this now.
And from there,
yeah.
Do you think kind of those hard times in life have put everything into perspective a little bit, and things like, look, I might as well just do everything that I enjoy, because I guess life's short.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's just like, just go enjoy it.
100%. I think, like I say, I don't want to be the sort of, I've had really hard times, let me preach to you. Everyone's had hard times, there's nothing new in the story I'm sort of telling. But obviously for me, once you've had them times where you've gone through that, you realise that, I suppose you try not to sweat the small stuff, and you're kind of like, I suppose like when you're younger and things are going well, you want your life to be like a film where everything's perfect, and then when you lose someone close to you, when you have these moments of turmoil, you realise, what, in the nicest way possible, like your life isn't that important in a way. Do you know what I mean? It's not this perfect film where every little moment and all this. It's like, you're there for a flick of a finger. Once you're gone, and just get on with it kind of thing, and get moving and do what you want to do. Because as I say, in the blink of an eye, 10 years will have gone, and you'd do anything to be the age you are now, doing what you're able to do. So.
Is there a little bit of regret in kind of having that 10 years off of music?
A little
bit,
do you
think you almost needed it?
I think I needed it. I think I really needed it in hindsight. I think I wouldn't have sort of survived carrying on as I was musically, and I needed that to go through and process loads of stuff in my life. But I do regret the time I lost in that, because, as much as it's great to be back and whatever, there is an element, I know there's space for everyone or whatever, but there is an element where music is a bit of a young person's game, you looked on favourably. As much as I've had doors open to me because of my past and what I did back then, I can see other doors that are shut because of, I'm not the fresh new face on the block, and I'm not going to be now. But, so I do regret the time lost, because that could have been put to good use, but as I say, I'm not sure really in the place I was, I'd have been put into good use anyway, even if I carried on through it.
So you talk about losing a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Do you feel like now you are kind of making up for that?
Yeah. In a good way, because it is sort of, it's all come about pretty organically. I've sort of fell into it and things have developed. There's been no great master plan for it. But yeah, definitely I feel, I'm not young. I've still got, like to think I've got a bit of time ahead of me, but I'm trying to do as much as I can and really do everything I'm happy to do. And obviously, I've just done a big headline gig at the Foundry last month. That was just about on a scale of sort of like the Kartica gigs. The atmosphere was a bit less frenzied, to be fair, but my crowd have grown with me a little bit. So that was amazing though, there were sort of over 500 tickets sold. Storm, Amy happened that night, so we lost a little bit on the door, but we got like 400 people there. So yeah, it was just a fantastic atmosphere, and to be at that sort of size and venue and have a night like that was really special. I try not to do too much as far as like full band stroke headline gigs at least. I try and do maybe 2 a year and make them a big event. So with that in mind, I've not got a lot coming up now live really at all until next March, which is I'm headlining Echo Sound Events Festival, which is a sort of promo events company. I think they're based in Sheffield, or they do stuff in the north. They're getting, from what I'm told, they've got like a big bill of sort of 20, 30 of all the sort of, you know, main players locally on the sort of local scene. They've asked me to headline it, which I'm, you know, really sort of honoured to do. And I think that'll be a really sort of special night, and you know, that should shape up to be a really good gig. So.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you're kind of hoping to collab with there?
As far as, I mean, I've got mates obviously in the sort of music scene. As far as collabing, I'm not much of a, you know, kind of just doing what I'm doing. But like I've done, you know, I've had people come on live gigs with me. Bethany Grace, who's more like a pop singer, but we sort of crossed paths by chance really. I got Beth up to sing a couple of times with me, and it's just a great vibe because it's nice, you know, we'd have never done that in Kartica because we were, you know, lads kind of sensual and all that. So it's nice just to have that dynamic, and Beth's a great girl and she's got a like fantastic voice and she's doing really well herself. So I've had people come on stage with me. The gig I've just done, Miles from the Resurgence, he come and played This Feeling like with us.
Nice.
Will from the Causeways, who are a Whittle band, he come up as well. He come to the gig, travelled over, drove back that night. And then I've got like mate, you know, I've got mates, Sons of the City have just come back. It was Section 60. Yeah, we're like, you know, gone through everything together back in the day. The sort of new generation of people, there's Daz Cadwallander, who I always bump into Daz, you know, always see him, and he's doing, you know, he's really going for it, and it's nice to see him doing well. LPMC, who's I was back in the day in a band called the Tivolis, but now he's come back. Like me, story's very similar, and Lee's such a genuine dude and such a top dude. So, you know, we bounce off each other. I've probably left loads of people out there, but yeah. There's you know, there's some good people in the scene locally who I enjoy seeing. The lads who come and supported us, Revert, we mentioned them off camera, you know, they were fantastic, got such a vibe about them. And just like, you know, Jacob was the singer and the front man, just full of beans, isn't he? And he's just yeah. So,
spicy,
you know, like,
beans as well.
yeah, and they just like to see them. It reminds me of me at his age kind of thing, and it's just great to see. And the Tivolis who played with me, not Lee's band, a new band called the Tivolis, he was in the Tivoli. They can play and they're really good. They've got a different vibe because they've got a brother and a sister. The brother's the main frontman, but the sister sings as well now and again. So it just gives like, and they've got good songs, you know, it's just that simple. So it's just, they've got some nice stuff going on. So yeah, just there's some good people locally. So.
Yeah. Not to push what we do too much on this podcast, but the connection between you and Revert is that you've both done an AB live.
Right, there you go.
How did you find that session? Did you quite like having the pressure of having to perform 3 tracks live and recorded, and did you just kind of enjoy the day?
Yeah,
anyway?
Do you know what? I really did. And talk about pressure, there was a bit of pressure because all of a sudden you think you're good and then you realise you've got to do 3 songs in one go and you're like, oh, right, okay. And typical with me, because as I say, I have this sort of band, you know, I'll have different members, maybe the full lot here, some lot here. So that come in a sort of really busy period of promo. So I'm sort of like, you know, spinning plates all over the place. We've got this booked in. We hadn't particularly rehearsed for that in itself, but these lads, you know, they play the songs all the time. So I'm just kind of like, right, we need to be there this time, whatever. And then, you know, we get there and it's just like, right, bang, you know, we're doing it. And some of them are kind of like, what we playing? And as you'll know, as you remember, like, which one do we playing? I'm like, that one, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And we just get going. And obviously, you realise, you know, when you play a live gig, you can play. I mean, this is where you talked about nerves earlier. You realise after doing a few, you don't have to be perfect. You know,
you can play like a bung note and stuff like that.
You can get away with loads. You could get away with loads, honestly. And then once you realise that relaxes you a lot. But on record, you know, especially live, you need to be on it. You know, one little thing. So there was a bit of pressure, but the studio's a great vibe. You bring a good vibe.
Thank you.
Go, right? But it was, you know, it was a nice, relaxed vibe. It was a good feel.
Yeah.
You know, the lads who come in to play, you know, the great boys. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the fruits of the labour.
It's out it'll be out now, actually. If you're watching this now, it's out in 4 days. But it's out.
I was going to say,
it'll be on YouTube now. It'll be out now if you're watching now.
Right. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know. Cool. So we kind of touched on your life, your kind of upbringing in music, that kind of stuff. We got to know you a bit. Mm-hmm. Looked on the upsides, the downsides. Now there's the ChatGPT side.
This is the tough bit. This is the bit I've been worrying about.
So if you've watched our podcast before, we always do a section called Chat Shit with ChatGPT, and we just get it to go a bit rogue. What is your thoughts on ChatGPT and the kind of
ChatGPT.
AI going a bit nuts?
Well, I mean, almost two different things for me in a way, because ChatGPT is literally like my best mate these days. I'm not even joking there. Like, I was one of these, stayed away from it for ages, don't like any of that stuff, whatever. Just bit the bullet one day and downloaded it, and then of course, like, 20 minutes later, I'm literally like never off it, and I'm out having these really meaningful conversations with ChatGPT, answering all the problems I've never got answers to in my life and all the rest of it. So yeah, I love it, but the flip side, I do find the AI thing really a bit unnerving, the way it's got, and more so, I just feel at some point, you're going to run into problems with this AI stuff in various areas that I'm not, too skilled and qualified to know about. But even just the video thing for me, you go online now, you can't see what's what, you can't tell what's what, and you just
I got done by one the other day. I was like, what?
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
And when it kills, you kind of, like, if you can't tell what's real, what's the point of watching it, kind of thing. So it kills a bit of that. But also you're thinking like logistically, the problems that can create.
Yeah.
And then of course, taking that away, I feel the music side, I see all these adverts, speak your speaking voice and sound like a professional singer. And I'm just like, do us a favour,
Do you think it does or will ever have a hold in the music scene?
I think it probably will. I just hope not, in a way. I hope. Don't get me wrong, like, if there's viable shortcuts to be able to do stuff that just save nothing more than time, great. But I just get the feeling like, we're going to end up like bleeding, little glass boxes where we just don't move all day, and like, you don't just speak and like things just happen around us. Yeah.
It's like you're listening to an AI song where the lyrics are written, and then they're cloning the voice, and then all the melodies are written and played by AI.
There's nothing to it, there's no feeling, there's no talent in a way if that's happening. So it's just like, what are you getting from it? If you're not getting a connection, part of music is you feel a connection from someone that you're not going to get in a conversation. You're feeling it. There's an emotion behind it, for me anyway. And there's a connection from someone who's performed it and made it, and they're trying to give you that connection. Now, if it's just AI, wicked. You know what I mean? But anyway.
Love that. Yeah. So before we get onto the section of chat shit with ChatGPT, I just want to
but I love ChatGPT. He's all right.
One last thank you to Boston Arms for hosting us. This one is Green Mountain Hazy IPA by Thornbridge, 4.3% IPA.
Oh, budgie lips
Thanks
here.
for coming
behind you.
And I hope you enjoy this section. Question number 1. If socks had emotions, which household appliance would they fear the most and why?
Socks. The toaster. I think the toaster.
Oh.
Yeah.
Imagine
if they just fell in by mistake.
Yeah, I said the iron.
Yeah,
But I guess
because they will get done by the iron. Won't they? I mean, they can stay away from the toaster.
On the flip, they can't burn, so I feel like getting ironed would feel quite nice. It's getting flattened out and you're nice and warm.
Depends how hard it is, but
but like, unless you do you know if like the steam's on as well?
Yeah.
I feel like it'd feel like a
massage. Yeah, like a spa weekend.
But a toaster is just full on, just you're trapped.
Yeah, you're trapped, like trapdoor style. Like a Vietnamese, torture device or something in the war. In the war, I mean.
You open your fridge and find a tiny philosopher living in the butter tray. What's the first question you ask him?
Well, this tends to happen normally about 3:30 on a Saturday night. So, what's the first question I asked him? What's it all about, mate? That's what I'll ask you.
Yeah.
Leave it that, open-ended.
Open-ended. What is it all about? If gravity took weekends off, what's the first thing you'd do on Saturday morning?
God. It's got to be legal, right?
Right. We can beep it.
No, do you know what? I'd probably go over like a football ground, like Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Hey, you can watch it for free.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I think some kids do that anyway. But the funny thing was, just touching on that briefly, I did the celebrations actually in Liverpool when we won the league last season. I went and played to like 1,000 fans at a venue in Liverpool. Nice. And we showed the big screen, did all the Liverpool songs. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic experience. And then I went over to Anfield at the end of the game, and some of these kids, mate, were just lit. I don't know how they got so high. Right? They're on like walls, like these young like Scouse kids, just like full of beans, like 14, 13, 14, banging away, flares everywhere. And they're on like these surfaces like 25 metres high. And I'm just thinking, how the bleeding hell have you even got up there? But whatever. But yeah, I do that. I just go and hover over a football ground and, just...
That's what the philosophers say it's all about, by the way. Yeah. Being 30 foot up in the air.
We'd also say this fantastic beer at the Boston Arms.
If you had to replace your hands with two non-electrical household objects, what would you choose and why? And I guess it could be music related.
Non-electrical.
Like, is there anything that could make you play the guitar better?
Plenty of things, to be fair. Non-electrical appliances.
Yeah.
Substance. You can see where my mind was going there, can't you? Right. Hang on.
So something that can replace your hands. So I'm thinking something that's got like more fingers than 5.
I'd have
or something that can.
I probably wouldn't have anything to make me play the guitar better, but I'd have like knives.
Mate, no one's messing with you then. If Mondays had a smell, what would it be?
Oh, damp socks. Damp socks in a toaster.
Which vegetable would make the best musician? Which vegetable would make the best musician and why?
An aubergine. Is that a vegetable? Yeah, it is, yeah. An aubergine, yeah.
Why?
Just because it looks good as that emoji on WhatsApp.
Good marketing. You can market an aubergine pretty well. All of it. You're given a time machine, but it only works going back 12 minutes. What's your plan?
Do whatever I did in them 12 minutes completely differently. Now, I think, I suppose it depends where you were, doesn't it? Like, in a particular moment, that could be really useful because, like, if you're absolutely, like, bombed doing something, whatever it is, that's really useful. Other times.
Could work at a gig quite well.
Yeah, most gigs.
Forgot the lyrics, you go back 12 minutes and you just, like, 2 seconds.
I'd probably not start. That's what I'd do, I'd go back 12 minutes and just call it off, call it quits.
Well, this is quite a philosophical one, this one. What's a socially acceptable habit that would sound criminal if described to an alien? Do you know what I said to Jordan earlier?
Go on.
Working for money.
Yeah, well,
I said that and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Socially acceptable habit that would sound criminal if described to an alien. I'm a bit stumped with that one, to be honest. Probably drinking these beers at the Boston Arms.
Poisoning yourself. For enjoyment.
Yeah, poison yourself on a weekend or even a weeknight for enjoyment. Yeah, I'd probably.
This one got me earlier. I found it great. I don't know how much of a conspiracy theorist you are, or not.
Depends how many drinks I've had.
Which everyday object do you think is plotting something?
ChatGPT.
Oh,
your phone. No, do you know what? I do feel like that there's definitely substance in the whole. Your phones are listening to you.
We were speaking about something the other day, and it popped up straight on my phone as an advert, just like bang. It's like, your phones are listening to you. Yeah. Well, it's what it is. Is what it is. Kind of dangerous.
Someone needs to, I hope it goes on Spotify and streams a song a few times.
You wake up as a traffic cone. What's your first move?
Probably getting lobbed by some pisshead on like Saturday night.
But you can move. I guess you can move if you're a conscious traffic cone.
I'd probably save myself a parking space somewhere.
And the final question of the day: you gain the ability to communicate exclusively with one type of insect. Which one, and what's the first conversation about?
It would be a wasp.
Why are you such a dickhead?
Do you know what it'd actually be? It would be, look mate, I know you got a bad rep, but I actually prefer you to bees.
Yeah.
True story.
I've always liked the idea that spiders are friendly, and if you could talk to them, they're like, apparently they run at you, because they think you're like safe.
I've seen this on the
So, well, I was like, they're scared, so they run at you to protect them, and then everyone just does that.
I've seen that on literally like some kind of meme or video, and I just thought it was a bit safe.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe I've just
Yeah.
watched
I mean,
it
they've run
and-
away from me, to be fair, so that's it. Like, didn't get the memo, but yeah.
I think I'd speak to spiders, because I don't like spiders, and I'd be like, look, mate, you can stay in that corner, just like you scare me a little bit, so just...
I don't mind spiders as long as I can see them.
Yeah.
It's just the fact they pop up, and I remember once...
They're a bit, like, just fast.
Yeah, they are fast. I mean, that's the scary. Like they're like a blur, some of them.
Yeah.
But I remember waking up and one fell on my forehead, like in bed,
Oh,
and I just like.
I'd be punching myself
Yeah,
in the
it
face.
was just literally like, you know, I've never moved so quick. So, yeah.
Well, there we go. Thanks for coming in.
No problems.
I've heard you have been... Oh,
I'm sorry. I thought he was going with
I was whacking the table because I've heard you're going to do as a little outro song.
Yes, I'm more than happy to. Yeah.
So the next, thanks for coming in. Thanks for Boston Arms for having us. You've been a fantastic guest, as I knew you would be. And the next thing you're going to hear is what you're going to play.
I'm going to play This Feeling, which is my newest single. Obviously, it was wrote on acoustic guitar all many moons ago. So I'm just going to play a little live version of that, yeah. And if it's no good, we'll go back 12 minutes, as ChatGPT said, and we'll do it again.
Nice. So this is Matt Hook. This is This Feeling, and his OV live is out now.
Right, this is This Feeling. This feeling running through me, this feeling all consuming, this feeling that I get sometimes when it turns. I feel the fire burns, it's real. Then it seems to heal. And if I'm tired, I wait, I'm rewired. Instead, I'm inspired in ways. 'Cause this feeling this feeling all consuming, this feeling that I get sometimes, this feeling that I believe in, this feeling almost like I'm dreaming, this feeling when I get these highs. Fire burns, it's real. Then it seems to heal. And if I'm tired, I wait, a man rewired. Instead, I'm